Hey everyone, does capitalism get you down?
Does the constant pressure to be productive get to you?
Are you tired of being a cog in the machine?
Productivity porn has created a business around making you think that constantly being productive will lead to a fulfilling life. However, this mindset has created unhappy, anxious, and burnt out people.
On our podcast, we aim to entertain by providing useless information just for the joy of it and giving you time in the day to stop the gears of capitalism.
And if you're thinking, what's the point of this podcast? Then we invite you to be part of the revolution against toxic productivity by embracing the useless things.
Welcome to episode 36 of the Very Unimportant People podcast.
Wow, wow.
Do less.
Oh, I forgot to say that. That was my part.
It's okay. Go ahead, Courtney. Introduce yourself. Give us the lowdown.
I'm your host, Courtney, and this week I went to my first ever comedy show, live comedy show.
Wow. And I'm your host, Lidia, and I just got back from Poland, the homeland, the motherland.
How was Poland, girl? Tell us how was traveling during a pandemic.
Oh, it was
scary?
Crazy, first of all. It was as if there was literally no pandemic. The only pandemic thing about it was the masks, but we were packed in there, bro, like freaking sardines. We were packed in there. There was not an empty seat on any flight there or back. It was a lot, yeah. And it was just like so smelly and like there was just so much going on. It was crazy. So that was flying. But I have a little anecdote I wanted to share with you guys. One of my cousins was telling me that in Poland, there is like this statistic that they have that those tiny little milliliter bottles of vodka, like, you know, the ones that can literally fit into your hand, like they're so small, that 1 million of those are bought before 10 a.m. in Poland a day. And I was like, damn. And we were at a museum and we were like looking at that culture, and like Poland is hella old. There's like castles and shit. Like it's been around for a while. It's seen some things. It's been through some things. It's been shrunken down to nothing. And this is what they have to show for it. And I was like, wow, the culture is just so beautiful.
That's crazy.
Poland, I know.
I don't think I've ever bought one of those. And like, you know, you're only buying one of those mini bottles of alcohol if you plan to drink it somewhere that you can't drink stuff. Like driving, like at work.
Yeah, bro. They put it in their coffee. It's like, that's just how they start their days. Some people. I know. Isn't it so insane?
It's crazy.
Drinking is such a thing there. It's like so different from Canada. It's such a culture.
I tried to do that once. I tried to put like alcohol in my morning coffee when I was in first year because we thought it would be fun for like our last class. Let's get lit. And it made me so tired. It was like a 3-hour class. It was so boring. I was lit for like
you just couldn't do it.
20 minutes and then fell asleep. It was not fun.
No. Oh, that's so funny. It's more fun to like day drink and then go to class, I found. That's a better solution because it's like the middle of the day, you're already kind of awake.
Yeah,
and then you can just like go for it.
Sounds like a better idea than bringing alcohol to your morning class.
That was a comedy show. I know.
It was so much fun. I like comedy. I've always been a fan of comedy, but I've never seen comedy. So it was cool to see it. And they were all like local comics. They were all pretty funny. There was a couple that like were a little bit cringy and just uncomfy because they weren't that funny. But outside of that, the people were really funny. And it was just a lot of fun. Everyone was like having a good time. It was our first like event since COVID. So it was just like nice to be in a room full of happy people not thinking about COVID.
Totally.
Nice.
And people magical. Are so much more excited to do things and be places now too. It's like really nice. Like, I don't know. I feel like before, like you wouldn't talk to your neighbor at a comedy show, but now it's like, oh my god, we're here together. Like every stranger is a new best friend.
The guy behind us was like, I found it annoying. We both found it annoying. Janae and I, we found it annoying because we were like right beside him. I think the comics really appreciated him because every single little joke, this guy would laugh and laugh and laugh. And his laugh was so loud. Like it was not a quiet laugh, like nonstop the entire show. I was like, oh my god, shut the fuck up. But I think the comics appreciated him. But when you're right beside him, I was like, it's a lot.
Do you think he was like hired by one of them? Hired by all of them to be
I
the
was
guy who
wondering
just
if he was
laughs?
like a friend. Like the first time someone went, he came in kind of late to the show. So like the first person that he was watching, I was like, okay, maybe, you know, it's his friend or something. So he's trying to like hype up the crowd. But then I just continued for the entire show. And I was like, okay, all right. I guess this is
What's
what's
what you have to
happening.
deal with now. That sucks. It wasn't one of those situations, where like when someone laughs, you're like, oh yeah, that was funny, and you like laugh along with them.
I mean, it made it easier to
realize?
laugh at some of the jokes because he was already laughing, but it was also kind of annoying.
Yeah, I understand. You're like, bro, that wasn't even that funny.
And there was this like,
Nice of him though.
there was this old man who was sitting in the front row on like one of the front tables kind of thing. And the whole night, like every comic was making like daddy jokes and like sex jokes at him. Because he was like the silver fox and he was like with two ladies. And then one of the last comics got on stage and that man was that guy's dad. And I was like, that is so unfortunate.
He's like, I'm literally just here to see my son, but I love the attention I'm getting. Oh my god.
It's probably the last comedy show he ever goes to. Really, like, no thing. Just trying to be a supportive dad, but no.
Yeah. I wonder if his son is going to want to invite him back again after
Probably
that.
not. Probably not. That was probably pretty
He's gonna be
scarring.
like, I love
for
your
him.
support, but I really
You don't
can't
have to
do
cook.
this. No. That's so funny. Oh, that sounds like such a good time. I love it. Hey, what's up, you guys? Now is the time of the podcast where we talk about the poll from last week. So let's get into it. As you may or may not remember, last week we had a really fun episode where we gave you some advice that you probably shouldn't follow. And we also played a game, which was the Amazon reviews game. So we guessed the products based on the Amazon reviews, and that was a lot of fun. Got a little spicy. Every Tuesday/Wednesday, as you know, we have a poll on our Instagram at very.unimportant.people. And this week, here are the results. The first question was, are beta males, I fucked it up. Are males who believe in God beta males? 69% of you, nice, said no.
Nice. I know we were kind of like disproved in this, but nice.
yeah, still nice. Obviously, you have to. It's a rite of passage. So, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Whatever. It's fine.
Respect.
Yeah. Big respect to you and your religion. Go get on your knees and pray. I'm kidding. Guys, I'm making jokes. This is satire.
Yeah, please.
Go ahead, Courtney.
Please understand it's satire. All right. So, the second question is, would you rather date a ghost or a brony? 95% of you would rather date a ghost.
That's so insane.
Thank you. Thank you.
Fucking hilarious. You guys,
and we got a lot of votes on this one. We don't normally get this many votes.
This was a landslide.
The amount of people that didn't vote on the first one but then voted on the second one, guys, people are passionate about not dating a brony.
That's so fucking
Who said yes?
funny.
Oh,
Our troll, our resident
who said
troll.
yes? Oh yeah, one of our resident trolls said yes.
So it should have
but
been 100% love you, resident troll. Thank you for voting. The 5%
So-
would be a brony. I believe them. I don't think they're trolling. I feel like they would.
So if you're a brony, if you're the weird sexual brony, maybe don't disclose that on your couple first dates. Just some advice.
And put the body pillow away. Deep, dark corner of your room.
Yeah. That's something for down the line. Just
Or never. See how accepting she is of other things first. Or he. See how it goes. It's so funny. So the next question is, if you could weaponize a fruit or vegetable, which would it be? Banana or squash? 58% of you said banana.
yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
Courtney, you get
I
that
agree.
one. Congrats.
All right, the last one. Would you break up with somebody if they smell? 77% of you said yes.
Wow.
Now, I just want to say that, like, people have been coming at us hard on social media because they that think we're not nice, but I'm gonna say most of y'all are in the same boat as us. So
I totally understand.
Welcome.
No judgment.
We have found our people. Yeah.
This is the poll. This is the poll. You can say whatever you want on the poll, and there will be no
Your
judgment.
true selves.
It's only yours.
Actually, there's judgment. There is judgment. We judge you, but like
it's all fun.
We don't really know who we're judging.
Yeah, it's fine.
It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. Thank you so much for participating in this super fun poll this week, you guys. Tune in to our Instagram on Tuesday/Wednesday/Thursday. You know, always be checking in for that story. Always be checking in. And yeah, let's get back to the show, why don't we?
All right. Take her away, girl.
Okay, guys. So this week, I have a little chat. I don't know if this is a fully formed opinion yet.
As always.
Yeah, I mean, as always, we'll kind of see where it goes. I have a couple of anecdotes to throw in there. So let's get started. So today I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about like DNA and kind of what is going on with DNA in the world right now, because it is a lot, and it's kind of intense. Like there's a lot of different little areas of DNA that I feel like a lot of people haven't really like considered or like put together the pieces really too much. But I mean, the first and most simple starting place for me was when I saw this headline, which was that Tony Hawk, which is this famous skateboarder, sold 100 skateboards which were infused with his blood. Yeah, so the paint that they used to paint the skateboards with, to paint the bottom of the skateboards with, was infused with like his blood, and there was like a red paint on it, and there was like his blood in it and stuff like that. For $500 each, they sold out in 20 minutes. People are like obsessed with DNA. Like, and I know it's blood, so it's not technically DNA, but you can extract it. You can make it into a DNA thing. I don't know. It's like kind of a cool product. I get it. And it makes the product super rare. And I'm thinking that people think that there's some voodoo in it.
I don't get it,
which is going to make them a better skateboarder.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because
I was like, what's the benefit? what would you do with it? Like his blood.
You know,
what do you think is going to happen?
That's what I was thinking too, because I don't think people are going to actually use them. I think people are going to be like, this is a precious thing that I need to just like put up on my wall somewhere and like never use. And the same kind of situation happened a while back too, if you guys remember. If you're listening to this like later, then it probably won't be relevant, either of this. But Lil Nas X wanted to sell those Nikes with his blood in them too. And they were set up to go for sale, like for the Montanero music video. Yeah. He was doing this whole Nike with like his blood in it, and it was like Satanist affiliated and stuff like that. And because of like a lawsuit and a bunch of other stuff, they didn't actually end up selling. But he sold out. Like he sold every single one. People are thirsty for celebrity blood. And for celebrity DNA. And I just think it's
truly don't understand it.
Interesting. Oh God, girl, same. I was like sitting here and I'm like, okay, is this like weird?
Yeah.
Is this okay?
Pretty sure it is.
Dude, I think it's like a little bit strange. It just, okay, for me, if I were to be selling my DNA, or if I were to buy someone's DNA, like I remember at one point there was like locks of hair for sale on eBay. It was like a whole thing that you could buy celebrities' hair, or you could buy like their hairbrushes or stuff like that, and they would go for auction for like $1 million. Like people wanted a piece of them. Anything. But for me, it feels like a huge violation of privacy. Like if I were to buy somebody's DNA, that, okay, for the eBay ones, it was not non-consensually obtained, right? Or it was just like so random. It was like,
so somebody just went up to the celebrity, like cut off the lock of their hair and run?
Well, I don't know. I think those were more consented
than okay, gotcha.
Some others. Like if it was a lock of their hair, then it was like, oh, it's for charity or something like that. Like obviously celebrities would never just do that to do that. But it was people who would collect it. People used to do this crazy ass shit. Okay, this is actually a perfect segue. So there was this website called celebritygenetics.com. And yo, people used to fucking like, this was kind of on the cusp of genetic DNA identifying, you know? You could like literally give genetics of anyone and you could get it tested for like anywhere from $20 to $700, and with no consent from anybody from it. You could just get their genetics tested, see what's going on in their DNA, and like just whatever. So this website used to sell genetic information for hundreds of entertainers, politicians, athletes, other public figures, and they would like sell them to individuals such as you and I, or to commercial publishers such as blogs and tabloids. And they would just get their drama
Oh my
on
God.
their things. And yeah. And you could like learn about paternity stuff. So maybe some tea, cognitive ability, behavioral genetic profile.
Could you
and
imagine
genetic
opening a
contributions.
magazine and reading like a news article about yourself, being like your dad's not your dad?
Yeah. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
God.
I would be so upset. And you could also learn about any predisposition to illnesses or prosperity for addiction, or a genetic contribution to sexual orientation, and any degree
I don't think
of
that's real.
risk-seeking behavior. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure your genes don't tell you if you're gay. I'm pretty confident.
They said it's behavioral genetic profile. I'm not sure. I
don't know what that means.
These are not my words. I don't really know where that stands. So for a while on the internet, there was this like anything goes mentality where you could pay people a fee to get tested without anyone's consent, like I was saying, right? And I wanted to read you a quick little examples of things that you could get tested, that you could find from a celebrity, and you needed proof that you found it from that celebrity. So you'd have to take a photo of them chewing the gum, drinking the drink, and then you like picking up their garbage and like sending it in to the thing. So one of the examples was chewed gum. They said that juicy fruit works the best. Cigarette butts.
How would you like set a celebrity up for that? Just like, hey,
do they just
want
spit it on the street?
Fruit?
People, I know, right? Like, what if they want to chew a different type of gum that day?
Yeah,
it doesn't always have to be juicy fruit, but they would like spit it into the garbage, and then people would literally go dumpster diving and try to find like this spit out garbage in a mountain of other garbage.
I feel like that's got to mess up the genetic testing. Like, how do you know?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of gum in the garbage.
Yeah.
Like, what if it's somebody else's? What if it like touched somebody else's and got like saliva on it?
The DNA gets like get like mixed up.
They're like, you have 3 dads.
You could also use hard candy or used condoms.
Ew.
Yay.
Okay, but that one makes more sense to me as to how you would get it and how you would prove it's that person. Yeah.
It's the one that makes the most sense, not to be honest. So they also had a section called DNA Wanted on Celebrity Genetics website, where there would be like hundreds of celebrities listed, and there would be a price or bounty for the person who collects it and submits the sample. And you would make money off of it. They would pay you for this stuff, and then they would make sure it was legit, and then they would resell it on the website for higher than what you paid for it. So it was like kind of a genius scheme.
Like such a violation, but yeah.
Such a violation. Oh gosh, it's just so wrong. I just don't feel good about it at all. And they claimed to have created an army of thousands of amateur gene-arazzi, which is like paparazzi but genetics. Gene-arazzi.
Oh no.
From all over the world, who hope to make money and achieve fleeting notoriety by obtaining and selling the DNA of celebrities. It's also called genetic stalking.
I'm like,
which I
still
think is quite fitting.
I'm still stuck on like what? Okay, you buy a piece of chewed up gum from a celebrity on the internet. What do you do with it? Why is it so valuable? I've
been trying to like wrap my brain for like why we are so obsessed with celebrities for so long, because people just fall into these like obsessions and like loves and like passions that they just can't ever get out of it. And I think it's just this need to have like more information about them for the genetic testing, but for the physical piece of chewed up gum,
that's disgusting. I don't want anyone's chewed up gum. I don't care who it was. I don't care.
It's just to have that person close. It's just to have like a piece of them
so weird.
near you. I think is like a thing, like a nostalgic thing maybe, where you feel like if you got me like a gift or something or like a card, I hold on to it because I'm like, this is so sweet, like this is meaningful, right? So if you really, really love a celebrity, it would be meaningful to you to have a piece of their chewed up gum.
Do you think it's just like to have something that no one else has? You think it's just that like, well, I have their saliva.
Yeah,
no
definitely.
That's
100%.
and
like you could compete with other super fans. You could be like, well, you think you're their biggest fan? I have 6 of their cigarette butts.
That's so weird.
Yeah, it's super weird. There was also this theory as to why we are obsessed with celebrities, which is that our brains aren't able to catch up with modern times so much. Similar to our like our thing. Okay, hold on. So we eat fast foods and like other types of foods because we like want high calorie, we need to survive, and like we feel like we don't know where our next meal is coming from, maybe similar to our caveman days where you had to like hunt for every meal and stuff like that. So the celebrity interest is apparently caused by our brains thinking we need to like respect a pack leader and kind of seeing those people as like creative leaders or like innovators or someone with a lot of wealth of knowledge or some wisdom to share or to impart upon us, for example.
Interesting.
So yeah, it's a little like old-timey. I wonder if cavemen had DNA stuff, if people would hold on to like locks of hair from their master and be like, I am the second in command or something like that, you know?
I feel like it's a lot more appropriate in that context. That sounds okay to me. That sounds fine for me to have a caveman hold on to someone's lock of hair.
Yeah, okay.
That sounds okay.
But yeah, because you weren't like stealing it, you know. You weren't going out of your way to rob somebody of.
And cavemen didn't have like phones or like anything like that. So if you knew you were gonna like miss your buddy, maybe you wanted a piece of them with you. You can't just call them up, you know? So that sounds better to me than dumpster diving for a celebrity's piece of gum.
Yeah, like that person doesn't want, they don't want that from you, you know? No one, I don't think anyone wants someone to be that obsessed with them that they're like dumpster diving for their DNA. Maybe there is someone out there. Drop us a comment if you
would like that.
Want that. That would be very interesting. And let me know what your star sign is. So kind of this little portion of this DNA thing, I'm going to conclude it a little tiny bit just because I thought it was like super interesting how society went from doing these DNA hunts to celebrities selling their DNA to us. They just cut out the middleman. You know what I mean? They just cut out celebritygenetics.com.
They're like, you know what? Here you go.
It's what the people want. They want my blood. They want my sweat.
That's
They want
crazy.
my skin cells.
Holy moly.
I know,
And like people are so afraid.
But it's a big brain move, you know? Afraid of what?
It's a big... people are afraid of like people like getting their genetic information. Like that's a hot topic these days of being,
I'm about to talk about that too. The 23andMe thing, right?
Exactly. And now celebrities are just like, here, take my DNA.
Take my blood, bro.
That's crazy.
Isn't it crazy?
Yeah.
And people are eating that shit up, bro. They be buying, they be selling, they love it. So
is there
as
any...
you're saying, there's this...
Sorry, just one question. Is there any celebrity who you would pay extra for to buy, like say you wanted to buy a t-shirt, would you pay extra to buy that t-shirt if it had their blood infused in it? Any celebrity.
Okay, see, this is really, really interesting because immediately my mind goes to Harry Styles.
Yeah, that's where my mind went for you too. Yeah,
for sure, right? Because I love him, I'm obsessed with him. But the problem is that I want to marry him and I want to be with him, and I know that he won't be with a super stalker fan who had the blood infused T-shirt. You know what I mean? So on a logical,
so you're playing the mind game.
The thing is that like I need to act super cool in front of Harry when we eventually meet and fall in love and get married.
Of course,
and I won't be able to like that shirt is just going to be such a deep dark secret. It would be the reason for our divorce, Courtney. Like,
he'd be like, "You told me you weren't a fan." What is this?
You have the blood infused T-shirt that I sold. How much did you pay for this?
Okay,
were you on the pre-sale list?
Here's my follow-up question.
Okay.
Do you actually think it's blood infused? Do you like how much blood? Do you think that they just took a little tiny bit of blood, put it in like a sea of paint, and they were like, there you go, blood infused?
Maybe. They said they took 2 vials from him, and then there's like a picture of him with the little thing stuck in his thing for like notoriety, I guess. They said they took 2 vials, which is like a pretty solid amount of blood in my opinion, and then they cleaned it and disinfected it. You can like clean blood from
it.
Yeah. And then they infused it, but I don't know what infusing means. I don't know how much like actual like blood is in there. Does it help with the pigment?
Is it red?
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, it is kind of cool, eh? I'm not sure. Like his blood is in there, but I don't know what the process is, what the scientific process is for that.
Just skipped right over that. They're like, you don't need to know that. It's infused. That's all you need to know.
They don't tell you. They just said infused. It's all about the buzzwords, you know? They just like put a little drop in the middle and they're like, okay, yeah. $500.
There you go. It's in there somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe it's a placebo. It's not even in there.
Could be. I'm waiting for somebody to like take a paint chip and test it. That'll be good.
Yeah.
See if there's just like paint or if there's human DNA in there.
I know. It would be sus. The website that he was selling the blood-infused skateboards from was saying that they were like, please sign this agreement that you won't make any clones of Tony Hawk. Okay. So they're being a little memey, a little funny about it. I don't think cloning is possible yet. Maybe.
I don't think so.
But maybe in the future. So there's this public discourse about 23andMe.
Yes.
And all the other genetic collecting companies, which will promise to tell you about your family heritage, potential diseases, even what flavor ice cream you are genetically predisposed to prefer. Kind of fun, kind of cute, kind of interesting. It's all written in your genetics, right? So you give them this information consensually, you do the little swab, and the intent is that they keep it a secret. Super cool, super fun. Well, it turns out that they sell your information to third parties. And in the agreement, they have somewhere written that you consent to them selling it to like a marketing company or to Google. Well, specifically 23andMe is like owned by Google. And they make so much freaking money off of it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one of the CEOs of one of the genetic companies had this to say, that our primary interest is unlocking secrets that exist in the genome, not engaging pharmaceutical companies to develop drugs, although we do see potential value in that. So pretty much what these companies are doing is they're selling it to either marketing firms and like kind of like big businessmen like Google, or they're selling it to big pharma. And then they'll do testing on it, and they'll kind of try to figure out, I don't know, like research, all this kind of stuff just based off of your DNA. And I don't know, it's a little weird, eh? I feel, okay, so because they're making money off of the fact that like we've sent in our DNA, is kind of annoying because we pay them to do the testing and then they make money off of selling our DNA
it should be
to
free.
third parties. I feel like we should either get it for free, or we should get paid. It's our DNA, right?
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know, but apparently according to the law, we actually don't own our DNA. If it's not on us, it's not legally our property, even though we feel such ownership like over our body. Kind of crazy, huh?
That's interesting.
Yeah. The law, even though it was physically once a part of you, this happened with Madonna. So Madonna sued these people called Gotta Have It Collectibles for auctioning personal items of her. They auctioned a hairbrush that had her hair in it, and she sued them. And she was like, this is so offensive. My DNA can't be auctioned to sale for the public. And the judge threw out the lawsuit because it was physically once a part of her, but the law doesn't recognize that it is like still hers and like still owned by her, kind of thing.
Huh.
I know. Kind of scary, huh? I think that there needs to be a little bit more like privacy going on in the DNA sector of life, because there's not a lot happening here.
From my understanding of how 23andMe works, it's not like they sell genetic information, but they don't specifically like sell your genetic information with your name on it. They're not like, this is Courtney's genetic profile and these are her disease markers. They just say like, we've collected all of these DNA samples. Approximately this percent of the population has these markers. This percent has these markers. It's more just like data about the genetics, not specifically like Courtney will die at 25, you know, like it's not like that.
Yeah. It's just kind of like a data set that they send over.
That's think a little bit so, but I can't be.
Yeah. I mean, that's a little bit cooler. That's a little bit better, I guess. I think. But yeah, I mean, there's also the argument where if the DNA is being used for health purposes, such as like pharmaceuticals and stuff like that, then that's a good thing. It is benefiting us in the long run, right? Because we want to live longer, be healthier, all this stuff. So technically we're not being paid, but we're being compensated, I guess, in a sense, because we're getting health benefits from people using our DNA without our consent. So there's kind of something else there. But I mean, it's a little scary because like, what else could they be using our DNA for? Yeah. And is it a Black Mirror situation? Is it a situation where your DNA is alive outside of your body and like it has emotions and feelings and is existing separately from you? You know, have you seen that episode of Black Mirror?
I have not. No.
It's like the consciousness one. They like upload the consciousness and then they upload it into like 2 different places, and it's like still the same person and she still has the same emotions and feelings and like she's still living, but she's just in a few different places. And one of them is being tortured and the other one is like completely fine, just living her life.
Oh.
It's a dilemma. And it feels like theft. It just feels wrong.
The 23andMe?
No, it's just like the selling and like the distribution of it and like I don't know, it just feels so, I know it's like not technically a part of you, but it just feels wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, like I have an issue if they're like directly selling my DNA like with my name on it, kind of like that situation. I know there's a lot of fear about like health insurance and how could it affect health insurance, because technically if you get genetic testing and you know that you have like a marker for a disease or something like that, you're supposed to disclose that to like insurance companies and stuff like that, so that they know how risky it is to insure you. So I know that there's a lot of fear around companies giving that to like insurance companies and stuff, but if it's for research and my name's not attached to it, I'm kind of okay with it. Because, like, I also feel like they can...
It's anonymous.
Yeah, and I feel like they can, like, predict, you know, maybe there's a lot of people with, like, a certain cancer marker, and maybe they can predict that there's going to be a lot of people that get that certain cancer so that they can file more, like, resources into care and treatment for that in the future. Like, they know things that are going to come so they can prepare for them or put more research into them. I think that's kind of cool. I'm down for that.
I love that. Yeah, that does sound like a pretty solid use for it. You know what another good use for it is? Okay, so they actually used one of these like testing things to catch California's notorious Golden State Killer. He was finally arrested in 2018 when investigators matched a DNA sample from a crime scene to the tests uploaded into a public genealogy site by a relative of his. Isn't that so fucking crazy?
That's wild.
I know.
But I also don't know how I feel about that.
Why?
That, like, I think it's a great thing that he was caught.
Yeah.
But what does that say about privacy? When you're sending your, like, genes into these people, that they're going to be like, oh, you're a relative of this person. Like, they're giving it to the police? Is that allowed? I guess it is allowed, but, like, I don't like that.
No, a lot of people don't like that. And 23andMe claims that they don't do it, but there's another one, I don't remember what it's called, and it's like it boasts that it sends it to the police. It's like, yeah, like your information will
help us catch them.
Yeah, exactly. It's like their marketing thing. 23andMe is like, we swear to God, we don't do it. We don't send it to anybody. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, that's the right way to do it. You should not.
I know, right? But any other people. I mean, it's all written in the agreements. Sometimes they can, sometimes they can't. Okay, so there's this other thing that I saw. It was in this article called like genetic paparazzi or something like that, as we were talking, the generazzi. And the opening line of it, which is the only thing I'm going to read to you guys. Imagine being able to produce a child with your favorite movie star using the DNA from a strand of hair or a flake of skin. What sounds like the plot of a sci-fi thriller is actually not that far from reality. This was a 2020 article, mind you.
What the fuck?
I don't know.
Don't do that. Don't do that. So I mean, you can't do that yet, but don't do that. If you're saving your celebrity DNA to make a child with that celebrity, don't do that.
Oh
don't do
my
that.
God.
That's
why people are buying the gum with the saliva on it. They're getting ready
like,
for
one
when the
day.
technology is ready.
Oh my God.
Fuck.
Guys, sometimes you can go too far. Sometimes you
Yes.
can. And that is, you know what? I was thinking like earlier that it would make sense to me if people were buying like celebrity like sperm or something. You know, that would make sense to me because that is DNA that has a use to it.
Yes.
But right now saliva doesn't have a use to it. But I also don't think that like, I think if a celebrity wants to sell their sperm, they can do that. You know, they can make the decision to do that.
Yeah.
But don't use their DNA against their will
them,
to make their baby.
Is that so fucking confusing? Because then they're like, I have many illegitimate children. How is the child support going to work for that, huh? Have you ever thought of that?
That would be the same as a sperm bank, so they wouldn't have to. Have you seen that
right.
movie where that guy like donates a bunch of sperm in like his early 20s and then like 20 years later when he's 40, like 16 kids come like looking for him?
No, I haven't seen that.
Okay.
But that's how I imagine that things would go if this would happen. They would be like, holy shit,
Yeah.
I have a celebrity parent that they don't know that I exist. I'm going to go to them.
Maybe they'll leave me millions of dollars.
Maybe they'll think I'm cool. Leave me millions of dollars. I feel like that would ruin your chances of actually being with the celebrity, though. Pretty dramatically.
Yeah.
Because, like, I get wanting to have a baby with a celebrity. That's cool. But I think that the main enticement of that is that you get to be with said celebrity, not that you just have their child.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have a part of them. And then like, you have this
kinda,
baby
like,
born out of obsession. I don't understand.
Skipped a whole step there. A very important step.
And the last anecdote I wanted to throw to you is a throwback to one of our fave episodes about cannibalism.
Oh, yay. Okay.
There's this website called bitelabs.com, which says on the front page, eat celebrity meat. Grow meat from celebrity sample tissues and turn it into artisanal salami. On their website, they're like, this is the future of sustainable meat. People are doing lab-grown meat from now on, and like, farm-grown is not a thing anymore. Nobody likes farm-grown meat. It gets diseases, it's dirty, but lab-grown meat is healthy. And now you can eat your favorite celebrities, such as James Franco, Jennifer Lawrence, Ellen DeGeneres.
Do you like them or do you hate them, guys? You can't want to have their baby and eat them at the same time. You can't have your cake and eat it too.
Grown meat, bro. What?
But with that, we could make eating the rich a reality. That's the first place my mind went. Jeff Bezos, you better get in on that because I will go un-vegetarian for your meat. I'm coming after you. That sounded so dirty, but I didn't mean it that way.
I will un-vegetarian for. Oh, God. So, yeah, pretty much all you have to do is just tweet at the celebrities. They don't have anyone as of right now who's...
Okay, everyone
tweet the celebrities.
Tweet at Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk so we can eat the rich.
I want to eat your meat. At bitelabs.com.
Amazing. That's so confusing. That's so confusing.
I don't really understand. I mean, the future.
How can you like
here,
somebody
almost.
but want to eat them?
It's a fetish, you know? It's a kink, I think. That whole like cannibalism thing where you like want to be so close to someone but you
You
can't.
consume
But you like
them.
literally want to consume them. Yeah, but you can't consume them. But like you want to because you love them that much, because that's like the closest you could possibly get with someone, right?
Is eating them?
Yup.
People be weird. Shit be crazy out there in America.
I know, right? Isn't it crazy? So that's all I got for you guys. I hope you enjoyed
you.
this half of the podcast.
I very much enjoyed that. That was
Oh man, it was a good time for me. It was a good time for you. It was a good time for us. Let us know what you think about this half of the podcast. A little bit of DNA obsessions. Love it.
Yeah. Let us know if you want us to infuse our future merch, which will show up one day.
Yes.
with our blood.
Ooh, that could be fun. We could like sew it with our strands of hair, maybe.
Ooh,
Handmade.
that would be cool. That'd be cool. Like sew on like the tag with hair.
Yeah. Although I don't know which one of our hairs we could use. Mine's really thin and weak.
Same. We both have like baby thin hair, so
We'll work on that.
the tags. It won't be the strongest, but you'll have our hair.
Which is what anybody wants these days. Just the DNA of someone that they love.
All right, guys, welcome to the second half of the podcast, where I'm going to be bringing back a topic. Now, I'm not sure if you guys listened to the episode where we had our guest, where we had Christian on, but Christian brought up this like interesting fact that when they created like the CERN Hadron Collider, the place where they collide atoms, that there was a small chance that they could have created a black hole, but they just went ahead with it anyways. And
For
I
science.
was on the internet last night, and I came across like a couple of really interesting conspiracy theories. Well, it started with one, and then it just went into a whole other subsectors of conspiracy theory. But the main conspiracy theory is that actually happened. That when they created CERN, they made a black hole, and our planet was sucked into it, and we've been living inside that black hole ever since.
Oh my god.
So the theory
That's amazing.
is that the world actually has already ended. And the world ended in 2012. That is the conspiracy theory.
2012, eh?
2012.
We're
really bringing back 2012. Yeah. Yeah, I know that sounds familiar to everyone. They're like,
when the
2012.
calendar ended, bro.
The world was
calendar
supposed
did
to
not
end.
continue.
The world did end because they collided atoms. I don't really know how it works. And opened a black hole. And we were sucked into it. So I'm going to tell you about this conspiracy theory, and we can all decide together. Did the world end in 2012? Okay?
Cool.
So, the main thing so what's really interesting actually is that this conspiracy was like really alive and well on the internet many years ago. And now everything on this conspiracy theory has been removed from the internet.
What?
Yes. And so I discovered this this conspiracy theory through a Twitter thread of a guy who used to be into the conspiracy theory. And he was writing about the fact that like he was like thinking about it lately. So he like went on the internet to go look it up and realized that everything had been taken off the internet. So he wrote his own Twitter thread explaining the conspiracy theory. So that's where I'm coming from. Okay. So
dude, that's so sus. Like if you want to make something seem like it's like legit, like that's such a cover up, you know, obviously. Oh my God. Okay. You got me. I'm sold.
Yeah. Okay. So the idea is, once again, it's 2012. And 2012 was the year that they found the Higgs boson particle, which was the particle that they found the first time that they did the accelerometer thingy and things exploded, and they found this particle. And now this particle is a particle that Stephen Hawking is quoted to have predicted could, when they discovered it, it could cause the world to undergo a catastrophic vacuum decay. Now, I don't know what this means, but it doesn't sound good. And Stephen Hawking sounds
terrible.
Yeah, Stephen Hawking is a pretty smart guy. So he predicted that when we found this could happen. Okay, so we already know that the Higgs boson particle might be a little Might be a little scary.
Unstable.
So yeah, the theory is when they found this, we got sucked into a black hole and we just didn't notice. And there's actually some physicists that believe that this is 110% entirely possible. And
No
that this
way.
is where we're living right now, according to their physics. I'm not going to try to explain it. I did not open that link. I was like, there's no way I'm going to understand that. So one of the supporting arguments is that for a lot of people think that like things just haven't felt right since 2012. There's been like an off feeling about the world.
Sure, yeah.
And
let's go.
every year the world descends into more chaos. Mm-hmm. And time seems to be going faster and faster. Now, the time thing could just be a result of getting older. I think time goes faster as you get older. But the world does seem like it's descending into chaos with each coming year. Like, COVID's been rough, guys, but it hasn't even been like the worst thing that's happened. It's wild. There's like a mass shooting. It stays on the headlines for like literally 2 hours, and then something new has happened.
That's so true. The world is descending into chaos. But how is that the black hole's fault that people are going crazy? Wouldn't the black hole just do nature things and earth things and that sort of?
This is where we come into one of the spin-off theories. Okay, and I'll get a little bit more into it kind of later, but one of the spin-off theories is that the world ended, and not that we were sucked into a black hole and been living in the black hole, but that simulation theory style, we're actually just like transported into a parallel universe or into a new simulation. Or here's another theory. Some believe that we actually died when the black hole happened and we're all living in hell right now. Good Place style. You know that TV show, The Good Place, where they're like, this is the bad place. They think that's happening right now, that this is actually hell. Which, capitalism do be hell, guys.
It's rough. It's hard. Everyone is so sad all the time.
The world is just such a shitty place right now that it's entirely possible.
That's so interesting.
Okay. Here's the follow-up theory. So the follow-up theory, another spin-off theory, was that simulation style, we destroyed this Earth and our collective consciousness was moved into a parallel universe next door. And this is actually
because of the black hole magic?
Yes, because of the black hole. Okay. They created the black hole, which ended this world, so we transported our consciousness into another universe.
That's very convenient. I don't know about this one. Because I don't feel like the black hole and smashing two particles together and creating a black hole for any rhyme or reason would transport our entire consciousness of 7 billion people onto another planet and just like allow us to exist in the parallel universe. That's so dumb.
This theory, this parallel universe theory, operates within simulation theory. So the theory would be that the world that we were living in before was a simulation already, and that we destroyed this simulation, so they transported our consciousness into a new simulation.
Oh, okay.
So we were already in the simulation.
We're just living in another simulation.
Yeah, to believe this theory, you have to believe that the first one was also a simulation. Gotcha, if that makes sense.
Gotcha.
We're just in a new one.
Yeah.
Okay,
and so simulation.
They believe that this is what causes the Mandela Effect, which we talked about in the simulation episode, the things that like people remember that aren't the same. But I found like a new example of the Mandela Effect that I had never heard of before that is really interesting. And it's that the Statue of Liberty, a lot of people remember it being on Ellis Island. Ellie Island. Ellis Island. I think it's Ellie. But it's actually on Liberty Island, okay? And there's like paintings of the Statue of Liberty from years ago that show it depicted on Ellie Island. I saw a picture of one person that has a plaque, like their grandmother or grandfather got like an award or like a certification or recognition from, I don't know what it was from, like America or something like that. And it says like Statue of Liberty, Ellie Island on it. So there's like a lot of evidence of
what the fuck
it being on...
They just like accidentally, they were like, oops,
we're going to move this to a new island. And there's certain pages that if you go on Google Maps Street View to look at the Statue of Liberty, there's a couple of pages where it's not there. If you like go to certain views, the Statue of Liberty is gone.
It's just gone.
And additionally,
that could be a Google Maps thing, though.
It could be. Okay.
Statue of Liberty is pretty important thing to remember to put on Google Maps. Okay.
There's another kind of example with the Statue of Liberty as well, and it's that right before World War I, the Germans committed the first act of terrorism on U.S. soil. They planted like a bomb or something. I don't know exactly what happened, but it had to do with the Statue of Liberty. And so they closed the torch to tourists. And that was over 100 years ago. But there are many people on the internet who have been up to the torch, who distinctly remember going up to the torch. You can look on like Expedia and like TripAdvisor, and there's people saying that they walked up to the torch when they were like 14. But it has been closed to tourists for 100 years.
No, I hate this. No, because I remember when I was younger, when I was a little kid, I was like, I'm gonna go up to the torch, like I want to go like into the Statue of Liberty. Like I thought that was a really cool and fun thing to do. On God, I swear I've seen photos of people in the torch. Like, I swear to Jesus, I have seen these pictures and I have had this dream of going into the torch. And then I remember it closed like 20 years ago, maybe 15 years ago. It wasn't 100 years ago. There's no way. It closed like recently. And they were like, sorry, we're not allowing tourists up there anymore. I don't remember what the reason was. Probably because it's like old and unstable, maybe haunted. And they were like, oh, it's not happening anymore. But no, it was not 100 years ago.
This Twitter man says it was 100 years ago. So I don't know.
This guy's,
I don't know, dude.
That's so fucked. That's so fucked. And this is the Mandela Effect coming into play?
This is the Mandela Effect, yeah.
Name for it?
This is the Mandela Effect.
This is just like the whole, okay, yeah. Mm-hmm. Holy shit, no.
And then there's like a collection of photos of people from like, you know, a while ago, early 2000s on Ellis Island, and their location is tagged as Ellis Island, and their like descriptions are looking at like the Statue of Liberty, but there's nothing in their pictures. They're staring at nothing.
I just got goosebumps. I literally just got goosebumps. Like I've started to tear up. That's so
I gotta say, I don't know how realistic all this is. 100% somebody could have green screened a bunch of photos. Or not green screened, photoshopped a bunch of photos.
Totally. It would have been
somebody could have fucked with
it out.
Google Maps. All this stuff happens, but
yeah. And he could be getting his facts wrong too about the 100 years ago thing.
100% he could be getting his facts wrong. I did not check them. I was just like, I'm gonna write that down.
Wow, that's so crazy.
Yeah.
There's so many islands. Anyways, that's irrelevant.
So there's that whole theory, that simulation theory. And there's a person on 4chan who, bring back 4chan. We talked about that earlier.
Yeah. The asshole of the internet.
Who claimed that he was one of the 23 scientists at CERN who performed the experiment to find the boson-Higgs particle. And he confirmed that the planet was destroyed and that we were placed in a simulated world. And whoever like claimed this described reality as being like Russian nesting dolls, you know, those all those dolls that go inside each other. So all worlds are nestled within another one. So kind of like when one ends, you can be nestled into the next one.
Interesting.
That's how he explains reality.
Okay. So we're just getting shifted constantly from one to the next. Is he a simulation theory believer? Like, is he on the boat that once we figure out how to like save the world, then we will be broken out of the simulation and we will be free?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that believe that like parallel universes exist. And I don't know if that is technically like a simulation theory belief or if that is like a completely on its own belief. I've never really looked that much into it, but there are like quite a few people who believe that more than one reality exists. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I think that's a physics thing, actually. I think it's
that's like, yeah. That time, it's like every decision you make breaks you off into a different timeline.
Yeah, like that one Community episode.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And so, hold on. Okay, yeah. So 2012 is the year that the Mayan calendar predicted that the world would end, right? And the Mayan calendar was not the only thing that predicted that. There were a couple of other people that believed that the world would end in 2012 too. And one of these guys was named Terence McKenna, and he was stated to believe that there would be a reality rearranging event in 2012. And the way that he explained how he came to this theory, there was like a bunch of complex things, and then they explained it in a sentence that made sense to me. And it's that time and reality are like a spiral, and we start on the outside and we move in. So as we kind of keep moving, time starts going faster and faster because the circles are smaller and smaller and smaller. And that's how he predicted when the world would end, because he somehow figured out like the spirals or whatever. And the end was 2012.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah. I thought that was a cool way to think about time.
And then in 2012, the spiral would be like really, really fast. And then boom.
Yeah. Okay. And then there's this guy, Preston B. Nicolay, who was a supposed whistleblower who wrote a book about time travel experiments at Montauk Air Force Base. And so he claimed that during these experiments that they were never able to travel past 2012 because they could find no future beyond it. And the even weirder thing is that he did this interview in 2014. So this was after the world had already ended, but he still went on the air to tell everybody that the world ended, that there was no future past 2012, which is kind of spooky because you would think that like
so scary.
When they made it past 2012, he would be like, okay, that wasn't real. But like we made it past 2012 and he still believes that there's no future beyond 2012. So I found that kind of spooky, oogie.
That is really spooky. I wish he was still doing his experiments so he could like travel backwards or try again to travel forwards. I wonder if it would have the same effect, because if we're living in the not real future, can you do not real time travel in the not real future? You know, like when is this world gonna end? Is time travel still possible? So many questions for this man. That's so spooky.
Gotta get in touch with him. Preston B. Nicolay.
Gotta get him on the podcast.
And then there's also a group of people that believe that we have reached the end of history, and that the end of history was in 2012. And what this means is that events still happen, but that we've reached the end of sociocultural evolution, so that humans are now stagnant and we're no longer evolving.
I feel stagnant.
Same.
I feel like that's true.
I believe that.
I feel like there's no way that we're going to get any better than this, you know? Like, technology is done. Like, we've got what we need. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Like, the next thing is going to be electric cars, like, sick.
Okay.
And then maybe flying cars. Who cares?
Like, what are they going to put in our history books? Like,
stagnant.
Elon Musk to work. Made an electric car? Like, great. Cool.
People went to work and grew the economy. No, not even grew the economy. The economy finally evened out. The end.
The budget was balanced.
The budget was balanced.
That's when the world ends, honestly, guys.
Yeah.
That's when the budget's balanced. Then we've achieved everything we need to achieve in this simulation.
Yep, that's it. The real way to end the simulation isn't actually saving the world. It's just to balancing
the budget. Whatever that means. Okay. And now here comes another spin-off theory. Okay, I kind of mentioned this before. Was that people believe that we had opened like a portal to hell and that we were living in hell. Okay, yes. But there's a whole group of people that believe that CERN is actually trying to like open the portal, open a black hole to either get to hell or find a god. That is the purpose of CERN. And now, this is something that I find really weird. Outside of CERN, a scientific institution, there is a statue of Shiva, which is a Hindu god. Mm-hmm. Okay? I find that really strange because science and religion are often like considered separate sectors. So I find it weird that at one of the most like renowned scientific institutions, there is literally a statue of a god. And there are videos.
What does that mean?
Of people dressed in cloaks at night surrounding this statue, stabbing a woman as a human sacrifice.
What?
There's a video of this. It went around the internet in like 2016, I think. And CERN responded to this video saying that it was a prank that was not approved. Like, it was like an unofficial prank. They didn't give their employees permission to do this, but that it was supposed to be a prank.
That too far.
That's what I was thinking. That's not a good prank. No.
That's a terrible fucking fucking
To
prank.
put out a video of you killing somebody.
Hello?
Surrounding a statue of a god in cloaks.
Science. What is
Doesn't
wrong
sound
with
like
you?
a joke to me. That sounds
is
like a
so
cover-up.
Fucked. Yeah, bro. That is
It was a prank.
disturbing. That's so disturbing. No. I hate that. I hate that. That's not a prank. That's literally a cult. Like, you get... started a cult as a prank. I'm so quirky. That's so fucking disturbing. Oh my god. How did that video get even released? And, like, you know...
Somebody took the video, like...
sitting out there.
Yeah.
It's just so wrong. It just feels so wrong. It just doesn't feel right. It's unsettling, deeply.
It is. I 100% agree with you. Yeah, I read that and I was like, that seems ick. That doesn't seem
ick.
like the type of joke a bunch of highly intelligent people would play, whose life is science. Doesn't really seem to add up.
No.
But I hope that lady's okay.
I hope so too. Oh,
so yeah, basically some people believe that they're trying to find their way to hell or to find God. And that's the purpose of CERN.
Are they still smashing atoms together to do that?
I
I wonder if they're just black holing it up.
Yes and no. Yes and no. So CERN has gone through multiple periods of shutdowns, okay? So here is an alternate theory about CERN. Is that CERN is actually stabilizing the world.
Oh.
This is the alternate theory, okay? Because, so, it's shut down right now because there was an earthquake that CERN caused when they smashed atoms together.
Okay.
It caused an earthquake.
That's
and they blamed it
great.
on a weasel chewing on a wire. They were like, oh, a weasel got into our system and started chewing on a wire, and that's why the earthquake happened. So they just blamed it on a weasel.
Okay, great.
And so now CERN shut down right now. But yeah, there's been multiple shutdowns, and every time that there has been a shutdown, there's been a period of chaos in the world. So the first shutdown was in 2013, which coincided with the death of Nelson Mandela, which is like the triggering of the Mandela Effect because everyone thought he was already dead for 20 years.
Yeah.
The Ebola pandemic happened, and the disappearance of the Malaysia flight.
Right.
Happened
all
within the first shutdown. And then it reopened for a few years. And there were like a couple of years of calm. And then the second shutdown happened in 2018. And that's when the Amazon rainforest went on fire. The first ever image of a black hole was released, and it looked like the gates to hell. A volcano erupted in New Zealand. And I feel like I don't gotta say this, but fucking COVID happened, guys. Also, pretty much the fall of the United States. You remember when insurgents took over the Capitol? That whole thing happened. Donald Trump was elected president.
Yeah.
All this happened in the second shutdown. And it's currently shut down right now. It's, I think, set to open in 2022 to start more experiments.
Good. Start stabilizing again.
Yeah.
Looking forward to 2022. That feels like for me when things will finally maybe get back to normal.
Yeah, when CERN reopens.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's another theory that CERN is actually
that's so cool.
Stabilizing the world.
Oh man, I wish there was more information about that. Like, how
Me too.
are they stabilizing the world? What are they doing in there that is stabilizing the world so nicely? Are they like sacrificing people to Shiva? Are they are they bashing atoms together?
Like maybe this ties into one of the other theories, or maybe like the world did end in 2012 and we were sucked into the black hole, and something about like what they do at CERN like helps stabilize, like, I don't know, electromagnetic fields or something like that like creates calm in this black hole world.
That's so cool. And like every day they're like, we gotta go to work and we gotta check that the budget is balanced of the black hole, you know? They gotta make sure everything is balanced, everything is working. Holy shit, that's so cool, man. If we live in a black hole, that's cool. Like, nothing matters,
cool.
you know?
But I would wish that they would just tell me so that I could like
I
quit my job.
for sure. Yeah.
That's it. That's the end of my list.
That's good.
So much.
I liked it a lot. That's so cool.
Okay, I have 2 more points before we finish off.
Okay.
One of them is that when it was opening at the beginning, the early 2000s, it experienced a lot of like delays in opening. It was supposed to open, and then they had setbacks, and then it was supposed to open again, and then they had more setbacks. So there were a lot of delays. And some people believe that a time traveler actually came back and tried to sabotage the opening of CERN because they knew what would happen, because they knew it would end the world.
Wow.
So that's another spin-off theory.
That's so cool, but they failed. And the world is over. And now we're sending time travelers back again.
And then finally,
so fun.
In 2015, scientists at CERN admitted to trying to create mini black holes to study. So they're actively trying to commit to create black holes so that they can study them. And they say that creating mini black holes is entirely safe, but
I hate that.
It kind of seems like you're gambling with the whole world's lives.
Yeah,
to create a black hole. Like, maybe there's some things that we don't need to do.
You know, like
no consequences, I guess.
There's no consequences to your actions if you end the whole world.
It's true.
Like you were saying, bro. Oh, man. I feel like there could be other things that we could be doing for science instead of making black holes. Like, I don't understand how that's going to help us.
Like, can you maybe solve the climate crisis? Just an idea.
There's so much other things to be doing.
We can make black holes later. You're not going to be able to make black holes if we're not here.
Maybe they're making black holes because they wanted to study how to get out of the one we're in right now.
We gotta go.
They're like, we don't have much more time in here. The Earth won't survive.
Maybe that's why the Earth is warming so much, because we're like in this black hole. Maybe it is like a heat trap.
Yeah, and every day we get like sucked deeper and deeper into it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Dude.
I don't even really understand what black holes are, to be completely honest.
It's just nothing.
It's just nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just nothingness. It's just like, it's like negative gravity. Pretty much.
Cool. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense. So yeah, that is what people think of CERN. People hate CERN. People are not for it.
No,
the internet does not like the activities
even
at
though
CERN.
They might be stabilizing the planet. They still don't like that they're making black holes.
I think the stabilizing the planet thing is one man's theory. I don't think it's a commonly held theory. It's something that I read like on one man's post.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really interesting about the
more
whole
commonly there's a lot of hate for CERN and the fact that they ended the Earth.
Yeah, and the alternate theory to it stabilizing the world is that they're triggering these periods of chaos.
Yeah.
Because it seems like they start and then they do the collision and then they're like, okay, we're going to shut down for a few years, and then there's chaos. So maybe they're creating it. That could be.
That could very well be it. That's kind of cool. We're all impacted by the black holes that are created on the day-to-day basis. That's fun. Fun and fresh. New thing to blame all our problems on. The black holes that CERN has been creating. That's cool.
It's fine.
Damn, that's so awesome.
All right, guys, and that brings us to the end of the episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed listening to Lydia's little talk on DNA. And what was that called? The paparazzi thing.
Generazzi.
The Generazzi. And talking about the Generazzi, guys. Head over to our Instagram and let us know. Would you buy a shirt from a celebrity, from your favorite celebrity? Would you pay extra if it was infused with their blood?
Yeah.
And then spin-off question, would you buy shirts from us if it was infused with our blood?
Yeah. Or just in general.
Yeah. Would you just buy t-shirts? Yeah. Full stop. We'll deal with the blood later. And I hope you enjoyed listening to my little talk about CERN. And let me know what you guys think. Do you think we're living in a black hole? Do you think the world ended in 2012? I think it's possible. It's convincing. Some convincing evidence.
Argument. Totally. If you were convinced by simulation theory, black hole theory is even fucking better.
And if you want to let us know what you think, you can head over to our Instagram, and that's very.unimportant.people. You can email us, and that's hatersclickhere@gmail.com, and that's H8TRS clickhere@gmail.com. We're on Twitter, and that's VUnimportantPPL. We're on TikTok, as you know. You can find us. I know you can do it. Come on, guys. And that's it for us this week. I hope you have a great